Please subscribe to my channel to help me grow. The sound of her laughter, light and teasing, ricocheted off the walls of our living room, and I froze mid-step, gripping the edge of the table like it could anchor me to sanity. "You know," she said, leaning back in her chair, eyes glinting with that mischievous spark I used to adore, "sometimes I really regret marrying you." Her words hit me like a slap, a cold, jagged slap that left my cheek burning. For a moment, I couldn't breathe. My mind scrambled for rationality, for humor, for anything to soften the edge of her cruelty. But the moment had weight. "So do I said, my voice flat, carefully controlled. I watched as her smile faltered, blinked, and then disappeared altogether. It had been weeks, maybe months, of tiny fissures that I had refused to notice. Her phone, always slipping out of sight. Late nights at work she could barely explain. Laughter shared over messages she hastily minimized when I entered the room. I had chalked it up to stress, fatigue, or just one of those phases couples endure. But the comment tonight, casual and cruel, carried a weight of truth I couldn't deny. I sank into the couch, letting her words settle into me like icy water. My chest felt hollow, an emptiness I couldn't fill. "What do you mean by that?" I asked, striving for calm, though every instinct screamed for confrontation. She shrugged, flipping her hair over her shoulder, nonchalant. "I mean what I said. Life's too short to pretend everything's perfect." Her eyes flicked to mine, daring me to push further. I noticed the faint perfume scent on her neck, something I didn't recognize. My stomach knotted. A memory of catching a glimpse of her at a cafe, laughing with someone I hadn't met, rose unbidden. I had laughed it off as my imagination, or maybe paranoia. Now, the pieces began to click into place with horrifying clarity. "Are you seeing someone?" I asked, the words tasting bitter. Her laugh this time was softer, teasing, but without warmth. "Maybe," she said, like it was a game we were playing, like I was supposed to smile or nod along. The world tilted. My hands shook on my knees as I tried to steady myself. Every memory of the last year, sudden absences, hushed phone calls, the way she would look past me sometimes, flashed with a sinister clarity. I had ignored the signs, because I loved her. Because love makes you blind, stupid, and painfully hopeful. I thought about confronting her, dragging the truth into the light. But part of me recoiled, terrified of confirming the reality I felt in my bones. I wanted denial, I wanted a lie to cling to. But the way she looked at me, with that flicker of amusement and guilt intertwined, told me there was no lie. "Who is it?" My voice cracked. I sounded weak, but the fury underneath it was volcanic. Her eyes softened for a brief second, an almost imperceptible flicker of guilt, but then her mask of flippancy returned. "Does it matter?" she whispered. "I'm happy. Isn't that enough?" I felt my chest tighten, a vice squeezing my ribs. Happy. Her happiness came at my expense. I realized then that our life, the home we built, the promises we made, was just a stage, and I had been a willing actor in a story I didn't get to write. I stood abruptly, the floorboards creaking beneath me. "Enough." I echoed, voice low but trembling. "Enough that you can look me in the eye and laugh about destroying everything." She looked away, and I could see the truth clawing at her features. For the first time, I saw fear. A tiny, fragile fear, like a shadow of remorse. I grabbed my coat. "I need air." My mind was a storm, racing through every possible scenario, every conversation we had, every moment I had chosen love over suspicion. Each memory now felt tainted, like a beautiful painting smeared with ink. She followed me to the door, pleading quietly, "Don't go. Please, don't go." But I couldn't stay. Not now, not like this. I didn't trust her, not anymore, and I couldn't trust myself to forgive. Outside, the night air hit me, cold and raw. I could hear the distant hum of cars and the occasional bark of a dog, ordinary sounds that now felt intrusive, mocking. I pressed my hands to my face, trying to hold back tears, trying to think. My mind was a battlefield of anger, sorrow, and disbelief. A thought struck me sharply. Betrayal isn't just a moment. It's a fracture, a slow widening crack that changes everything. And as much as I loved her, I knew some fractures couldn't be mended. Not tonight. Not ever. I turned back briefly and saw her framed in the doorway, pale and small, her smile gone entirely. She had been the one to start the war, and now we were both casualties. But for me, the loss was deeper than anger. It was the loss of the life I thought we shared, the illusion of trust, and the heartbreak of realizing the person I loved was no longer the person I knew. I walked away into the night, each step heavy but decisive. I didn't know what the future held, only that nothing would ever feel safe or whole again. And that, perhaps, was the cruelest betrayal of all.